What is going on, YouTube? Bringing you a brand new video today. I hope you are doing well and welcome back to the RDA. As usual, it's your boy Triple M going to be talking about that shocking 1-0 defeat to Arsenal, man. So let's get into it. What actually went wrong and where is Manchester United going? Yes, we have to answer these deep, philosophical, over-dramatic, reactionary questions. Let's get into the video. Where else can you start? You got to start where the buck stops, because the buck stops where the buck starts, with the manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What is the problem? I went into some streams yesterday and I tried to listen to different opinions other than my own, and I'm hearing much of the same things, but I heard something yesterday that really got me thinking. I heard someone not say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a PE teacher, not say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has no tactics, but rather that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has no philosophy. And that got me thinking, well, what's the difference between a tactic and a philosophy? It's like this, yeah. When you start a business, you have a vision, which is your philosophy. It's where you want the business to be one day. Not where it is right now, but where you want it to be one day, right? How do you get from where you are right now to getting to that place where you want to go one day? Strategy. You need strategy. And it finally hit me. Maybe what people have been saying is not that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has no tactics. Maybe it's that he has no philosophy. He has no end goal. He has no vision. And if that is what people have been saying this whole time, then I can kind of agree with that. Because you finally articulated your opinion properly. To say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has no tactics is false. He clearly does. He beat Leipzig 5-0. He beat PSG 2-1. So there is clearly some sort of tactical nous here to beat some of the best managers in the world, whether it be Pep Guardiola, whether it be Lampard's not really one of the best managers in the world, but Nagelsmann. He took some points off Klopp. Yes, we didn't beat them, but we actually deserved to win in that game last year. Not the one where we lost 2-0, the one where we drew 1-1 with Liverpool. So saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has no tactics for me is something that I still agree with. I think he's just inconsistent in his tactics because he doesn't actually know what his end goal is. I think Manchester United are a team at the moment that, although we've had a 72% win rate, and I think it's gone down since yesterday, since January, we've played 3 different formations in the last 2 weeks. We've played a back 5, we've played a 4-2-3-1, and we've played a diamond, a 4-4-2 diamond, which to me suggests that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still trying to figure out what is the best system to fit the best players to get the most out of this squad. We don't have width. We don't have any wingers, any traditional, proper, out-and-out wingers. I've spoken about this many, many times before. So the diamond is a very interesting formation. My problem with the diamond, and my problem with how quick and reactionary everyone was to the diamond and the result against Leipzig is, it's not that I don't think the diamond can't work. But when you look at the diamond, it's a very narrow formation. If your midfield gets run over and gets bypassed by a high press like Arsenal did so well yesterday, then you have to rely on your fullbacks because your fullbacks compensate for the lack of width. And that is the problem with the diamond. We do not have attacking fullbacks. Yes, Telles, when he's fit, can play in that position, but we can't just rely on Telles as one outlet. We need 2 attacking fullbacks to balance it out so that we can attack from multiple sides. And then what you do is you need your strikers. Another way of doing it is you need your strikers to pull the back 4 apart so that your midfield can penetrate down the middle. And the diamond, that is how the diamond can work. Those are 2 ways the diamond can work. And at the moment in Manchester United, it doesn't seem to be working on a consistent basis. The Leipzig result was a one-off result. And whilst I do think the diamond's a good formation, I have question marks over, number 1, who should play in that midfield in the diamond, but number 2, how we're going to find alternative solutions to the problem of our midfield not playing well. And that is the problem with Manchester United that I have. Yesterday against Arsenal, we were awful because they pressed us so high up. We didn't expect it, you know. And usually Manchester United plays well against teams that come and press them up high. Usually Manchester United plays well against teams that love to hold the ball. Usually we are good on the counter. We're one attacking team. But yesterday showed why you cannot just rely on one plan. You need another plan. And it seems like whether we play a back 5, whether we play a 4-2-3-1, whether we play a diamond, whether we play a back 3, whatever you want to call it, whether you want to obsess over the formations and what they're called, it seems like to me that we are at our best when teams play at us, and they give us space to go in behind because we're so quick in transition and efficient at moving the ball from one side of the pitch to the other side of the pitch. What we cannot do is hold the ball for long periods of time, control the tempo of the game, stop a team from dominating us and actually say, okay, hang on a minute. Instead of trying to score so much, maybe let's try to take control of the game and build up from the back. We love passing out from the back, yet our centre-backs sometimes, when we need them most, fail at it. Maguire, Lindelof, which I'll get to in a moment. So very interesting problems with Manchester United that I noticed yesterday. And I think I finally can agree with the people who say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has no philosophy or vision. But to say he has no tactics is still false, in my opinion. So Scott McTominay, Paul Pogba, Luke Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Fred as well. Those are some of the players I want to discuss a bit. Starting off with Paul Pogba, because he is the most polarizing figure since he arrived at Manchester United for 90 million from Juventus, one of our record signings, right? Paul Pogba, where am I with Paul Pogba? Am I Paul Pogba in? Am I Paul Pogba out? It's as simple as this. I'm not one of those people that's going to say Paul Pogba's a virus, Paul Pogba's a crap footballer. I've never said Paul Pogba's a crap footballer. I've never said Paul Pogba's a virus. I have been a huge advocate for Paul Pogba leaving Manchester United because it seems like he's a player that's very ambitious and wants to win trophies. And right now, Manchester United cannot give him that. Major trophies, mind you. The Europa League that he won under Jose Mourinho won't mean much when he looks back on his career. The Carabao Cup won't mean much when he looks back on his career if he has the potential to go on somewhere else and win Champions Leagues or potentially a Premier League, right? So I think with Paul Pogba, it's an interesting talking point because I still think the very good footballer there. I don't believe Paul Pogba was world class. I don't believe Paul Pogba was ever world class. I don't buy into this nonsense of on his day he's world class. Mate, on my day I'm a decent FIFA player, but there's a reason why your boy didn't go pro, okay? Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. The difference between a world-class player and a very good player is a world-class player, regardless of who's around him, regardless of how bad the team is, they stand out. They play exceptionally. You can notice the difference when they're not there. Paul Pogba didn't play when we beat Manchester City. Paul Pogba didn't play when we beat Manchester City the 3 times that we did. He didn't play when we beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup last season. He didn't play particularly well against Leipzig when we played them off the park 5-0. He didn't. Like, yes, he in moments and in spurts, he had exceptional moments of individual brilliance. But if that's what you want from Paul Pogba, if that's what you paid 90 million for, then my friend, I don't know what to tell you. So I've never said Paul Pogba was a bad player for Manchester United. I've just said for what I expect and the standards I have from him, for the standards I have of a world-class player, he has not delivered. I would rather get an above average to good player at Manchester United than a player who's world-class on his day and is extremely inconsistent in a red shirt. I would rather have the Ander Herreras. I would rather have the Freds. I would rather have the Brunos. I would rather have those players who work extremely hard or extremely tenacious and have a bit of technical ability and talent to couple that hard work and that good work ethic. And players who don't talk about going to Real Madrid every international break and every opportunity they get. That is my honest opinion and that is my honest preference. When I look at the profile of player that Manchester United used to sign under Sir Alex Ferguson, whether it was the Cristiano Ronaldos, the Carlos Tevezes, Wayne Rooney came through the youth setup, I know, but the big players, the good players that people consider to be world-class at Manchester United or really good, the Nanis, the Kagawas, when I look at the profile of those players, before they came to Manchester United, they weren't ex-World Cup winners. They weren't ex-Serie A title holders, most goals, most assists in the midfield, best midfielder in the world on their day status. With a lot of raw talent, raw ability, who were playing in a lesser team, either in a lesser league or in the Premier League, that were looking for the step up and were ambitious, and it was their dream to play for Manchester United. And they came to Manchester United, and most of them had long careers at Manchester United and went on to do great things. You think about the Rooney-esque, Giggs-esque players. Yes, Rooney came through the setup, but he stayed at Manchester United for such a long time. And I'm not saying he didn't have the ambition of going to Real Madrid, but he didn't talk about it every single international break. His agent wasn't gobbing off about Real Madrid. And look, maybe this is a sign of the modern times and of the modern footballer. Maybe I'm just too old. Even though I'm only 21 years old, maybe my opinions about football are just too old-fashioned, is what I'm trying to say. But I want players at Manchester United who are willing to die for the 3 points, fam. I miss the old school type of signings we used to make. And it's not even like I'm referencing the Fergie days. If you look at the signings that have done well at Manchester United in the last 5 years, notice how they all came from clubs that we would not be particularly interested in as Manchester United fans. Fred came from the Brazilian league, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the South American leagues. Herrera, most of you watching this video don't even know where Herrera came from, fam. Facts. Aaron Wan-Bissaka came from Crystal Palace. He's doing well. Bruno Fernandes came from Sporting Lisbon. He's doing well. So when I look at the signings at Manchester United that have actually done well, Anthony Martial came from Monaco. Now, Monaco, you can debate whether that's a good team or not, but the point is, it ain't no Real Madrid. It ain't no Barcelona. It ain't no Juventus. I'm sick and tired of these big name, Di Maria, Falcao, Sanchez, Pogba, Schweinsteiger. I'm sick and tired of these big name has-beens who come to Old Trafford and just want to win a league title in the first 3 seasons. How about players who want to buy into a long-term project? Now, Paul, I don't think you're a bad player. Again, let me stress that. But I think for your career, my friend, and for your interests and for everybody's interests, you should move on. As the people who live up your ass say you are, then you deserve better than Manchester United. That is my humble opinion. I'm complimenting the guy. I'm not knocking him. So, I hope that makes... The last player I want to talk about, the last few set of players I want to talk about, and I'll lump them all into one category. Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, what did I think of their performance yesterday? Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and where am I with those players? I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a very good player, just had a bad patch after lockdown, and it's going to be inconsistent because he's very young. But I think he's been a good signing, and I don't think too much of what happened yesterday with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, so I'll move on from him. Maguire, Shaw. I think Shaw let in way too many crosses yesterday in the first half. I like Luke Shaw. Defensively, I prefer him over Alex Telles. Going forward, I think Alex Telles is much, much better. But the problem with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw is their offensive capabilities are just not there. And if we're going to play the diamond, we need new fullbacks to be completely blunt and completely honest. But in other systems, I don't mind them. So it is what it is. Harry Maguire, I've always said Lindelof is better than Harry Maguire in it. Like, I prefer Lindelof over Maguire, to be honest. As I've always said, he's half the price and he's consistent. I know what I'm getting with Lindelof. I don't know where to put Harry Maguire because when I look at his stats and I actually compare his one-on-one duels, his aerial clearances at the back, the amount of tackles he makes, how many players actually do skip past him, it actually looks pretty good. But when I look with my eyes and I give him an actual eye test and I actually watch him, the individual errors he makes because of the lack of attributes he has. For example, his lack of pace. Sometimes his positional awareness when there's a ball coming into the box is atrocious. Suplexing his own teammates, fam. And I'm not just talking about Luke Shaw. He did it to Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. It's appalling. It's appalling for an £80 million player. And I know the price is not his fault. I know it's not his fault. But at the end of the day, this is an £80 million player who's going to start every single game. So as a starter for Manchester United and a captain of Manchester United, I'm not happy with Harry Maguire. I think it was not a successful signing up to this point. And that's just my personal opinion. It's not just because of his price tag. I never liked him at Leicester City, him at Manchester United. I don't think he's a crap footballer. I think there is a player in there, but I don't think he fits into what Manchester United are trying to do. And if Manchester United want to keep this guy, they need to buy someone next to him who complements him. Personally, if I was in charge, I would get rid of him and keep Lindelof and build a completely new defense anyways. But you know what? You don't always get what you want in life, and Harry Maguire is here to stay. So as long as he's wearing a red shirt, I will continue to back him, and I hope he proves everybody wrong. I hope we sign someone next to him who can turn him into a world-class-esque centre-back. But, it's all just hope at this point. Fred, McTominay. Let me just say that I think McTominay played out of position yesterday and Fred played out of position yesterday. I do not believe Fred is a DM. I said this. When Fred played well against Leipzig, he was playing in a box-to-box role. When he has the freedom to move up and down the pitch, it gives him the opportunity to win and intercept key passes from the opposition But when he's a DM, his responsibility is to sit in front of the back four, and he's basically just waiting. He's waiting on the mistakes from McTominay and Pogba in front of him. He's waiting from the mistakes from people behind him so that he can fill into the gaps, because that's what a CDM does. And that is not when Fred is at his best. His physicality and his height is not very good. Those aren't his best attributes. What are his best attributes is his tenacity, his ability to move and track up and down the field, his energy, his stamina, his ability to move the ball on quickly. He doesn't have the best first touch, but he can move a football on quickly. Right? He's a better technical footballer than McTominay. So why not use him in a more advanced role? McTominay can't play a long range pass. McTominay can look after the ball, but it's always with the sideways pass. If he's a center defensive midfielder, sideways passes are not a bad thing. But if he's a box-to-box midfielder, as he was yesterday, then sideways passing becomes an issue. You see what I'm saying with McTominay? I've never said that McTominay is a good CDM, but I have always said that McTominay has the potential to be a good CDM and can do a better job than Fred holding in the pivot, because all he has to do is just sit and make sure he doesn't give the ball away. Not that difficult if you're a Manchester United player. However, if Fred is asked to do that job, you're limiting all the attributes of that make Fred Fred. I prefer Fred to running, having the license to go up and down and support whoever he wants based on the system and based on the shape. That is where Fred is at his best, in my opinion. If Fred cannot move up and down the field, I don't know what we're doing. Where was Matic? Where was Matic? If Fred and McTominay were not good enough, where was Matic? I know he came on in the second half, but he should have bloody well started in the DM role. It's appalling. It's appalling. And yes, that might be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault to a point. Actually, it is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault because he picked the team. But at the end of the day, Fred didn't lose us the game. McTominay didn't lose us the game. That whole team as a collective lost us the game. And some people would say that if Pogba doesn't give away that penalty, it ends 0-0 anyways, because Arsenal couldn't score, fam. So, it is what it is. But anyways, leave a like on the video. If you did enjoy that, please do subscribe if you are new. And as usual, it's been your boy Triple M. Enjoy the rest of your day.